Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Kelly. I am the program coordinator for Study Abroad program. Joining us tonight, we have Dr. Alice Yan, Acting Director of Special International Program, Chikako Walker, Japan Community Travel Leader, and she is Acting Director of International Education Program. We have a special guest tonight, Mr. Ramsey Kerr, from Hong Kong, joining us from Hong Kong, the director of the Learning Adventure. The Learning Adventure is a program provider for Japan Community Travel Program. Tonight, Dr. Alice Yan, Chikako Walker, and Mr. Ramsey Kerr will talk about the detail of the Japan Community Travel and answer all your questions. And well, I'll pass the mic to Ramsey. Thank you. You are the co-host. You can, yes.
I can host. Let me share my screen firstly. Okay. Well, yeah, good morning, everybody from Asia. I'm actually in Vietnam right now. I've just come down to Ho Chi Minh City for a few days. Yeah, good morning from my end, or good evening in California. I'm Ramsey from the Learning Adventure, and we are the company that will be arranging this fantastic trip to Japan. So I'll just take about 10 minutes today to talk through the itinerary, a few trip details, explain a little bit about what to prepare for the trip. We'll discuss some of the health and safety aspects and take any questions that you might have. So just to introduce the Learning Adventure, we're an Asia specialist. Our mission is to expand minds through transformative travel experiences. And we're very passionate about the power of that mission. And we think it's super important that people are traveling to other countries and learning about other cultures. We focus on the experiences during our trips. That's what we think make our trips very unique. And we are very focused on health and safety at all times. We're very experienced tour operator. We've been doing this for 13 years. And Japan is the most popular destination that we arrange tours in. So just to talk about your trip, on the first day you'll arrive in Japan, we will be sending out recommended flights for the trip. And we suggest you book on one of those flights, and then you'll arrive in Japan and take a private transfer to your hotel, which is a very comfortable hotel. Hotel rooms in all hotels in Japan are super clean. The service is amazing, and they're a little bit small. There's not much land available in Japan, so the hotel rooms are not as big as the hotel rooms in California. But apart from that, they're very comfortable. That first night, we will go to the Tokyo Metropolitan Building, which is one of the skyscrapers in Tokyo, and we'll start to get a sense of our bearings in the city by enjoying the views from the top of that skyscraper. And we'll have a trip briefing where we'll explain the do's and don'ts of your time in Japan. There are a few cultural do's and don'ts, just so you can be respectful and follow the ways of doing things in Japan, and just a few safety notes in that briefing. On day 2, we see the major sites of Tokyo with a half-day city tour on a private motor coach. And we see the Meiji Shrine and Harajuku tour. Harajuku is one of the quirky artistic neighborhoods in Tokyo. And we see the Shibuya crossing. This is in the photograph here. It's one of the sort of postcard scenes from Tokyo, where the very busy crosswalk in Shibuya, a very vibrant district of Tokyo. The next day we go to the Tokyo National Museum to start digging into the historical side of Japan and the artistic side of Japan. And we go to Asakusa district, and this is the Sensoji Temple, which is pictured here. It's one of the best examples of a Japanese temple. This one was, as well as most of the historical buildings in Tokyo, they were rebuilt after the Second World War. But it's a beautiful building. And then we go to Akihabara, which is one of the districts which really comes to life at night in Tokyo. The next day we go to the Tsukiji fish market. This is the original site of the market. You might have heard that some parts of this market, the commercial parts, have moved out to the suburbs, but the spirit of the market remains, and we still go there and enjoy some fresh sashimi. We have a sushi making class ourselves as well in Tokyo, so you get a chance to try making your own sushi, which is a really fun experience. We visit the Hamarikyu Gardens, which a Japanese garden is really a beautiful thing to go and experience. There's a lot of symbolism within the gardens, and they are just exquisite. You have a free afternoon for some private exploration, so our adventure leaders can give you lots of suggestions on what to do during this free afternoon, or maybe you just want to take a rest in the hotel. That evening, we head out for a beautiful river cruise on the Sumida River, which runs through Tokyo. The next day, we take a bullet train transfer from Tokyo to Kyoto, and we can guarantee that bullet train will be running on time to the second. It's an experience in itself, taking that bullet train. Incredibly smooth journey, incredibly fast, and just a very interesting experience. We arrive in Kyoto, and here's one of the famous sites in Kyoto. It's the Arashiyama bamboo forest, and here we also go to the monkey park, which is on the top of a hill near this forest, which is good fun. And we go to the Tenryuji Temple. Here they've got I guess Japan's answer to the Mona Lisa. There is a painting of a dragon, and wherever you are in the room, the dragon's always looking directly at you. And we go to the Nijo Castle Sakura illumination. So Sakura is the cherry blossoms. So this trip will be happening when the cherry blossoms are expected to be in bloom. So that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. That will be a very special part of this trip. Day 6, we go to Fushimi Inari Taisha. So this is what's photographed here. It's on a hillside, and it's kilometers and kilometers of these torii gates, which are spiritual, religious shrines, really. And you can go for a walk through these gates. It's very popular with the Instagram crowd, and it's just a beautiful part of Kyoto to see. In the afternoon, we go to a temple that's on the hillside of Kyoto, overlooking Kyoto. And I should explain that Kyoto is one of the most unique cities you'll ever visit in your life. It's full of thousands of temples. These temples are all original. Kyoto was not bombed in the Second World War, so temples all are original, and it's probably the most number of temples in any one city anywhere in the world. And it's just so quaint and so beautiful, and one of the most special atmospheres of any city I've ever been to. We get back into the city in the afternoon as we go to the Higashiyama shopping districts and Hana Mikoji Dori. Next day, we visit the Museum of Modern Art to continue our artistic explorations in Japan. And then you've got some free time again in Kyoto, and there'll be so many things you can do during your free time. Wander down by the river or explore some of the winding alleys of downtown Kyoto, or again, just relax in the very comfortable hotel before we take our evening bullet train to Hiroshima. So on day 8, we visit the Hiroshima Peace Memorial and Museum. This is the site of where the atomic bomb, one of the atomic bombs was dropped. And it's a very moving memorial towards peace. And it's been done in a very moving way. And we think this is an important part of the trip. In the afternoon, you have a free afternoon. And the next day we go to Miyajima Island, which is really a nice way to start wrapping up the trip. The G7 recently took place in Japan, in Hiroshima, with the leaders from 7 of the world's largest economies coming together. And I'm British, so I noticed that our Prime Minister Rishi Sunak he went to this gate and got a photograph in front of this torii gate shrine that's in the sea. When the tide goes out, you can walk up to it along the beach, but when the tide comes in, it gets flooded at its base, and it makes for a beautiful scene. There's lots of wild deer roaming around who are very, very friendly, and it's just a beautiful place to spend the day. In the evening, we have karaoke, KTV, Japanese style. So this is different to karaoke in America. It's not all in one bar. You get your own private room just for your group. And it is such good fun. People who are a little bit shy about it at the beginning of the evening, they're always the ones that you cannot get off the microphone at the end of the night. It's very optional, of course, so it's not your thing. Absolutely no pressure to attend, but by this stage in the trip, everyone tends to have come together and are quite close after 9 days traveling together. So it's always a fun way to wrap up the time in Hiroshima before heading back to Tokyo the next day for a little bit of free time and a farewell dinner before flying out on day 11. So I really think it's a fantastic itinerary. It's just so much to offer across those cities that you'll be visiting, Tokyo, Kyoto, and Hiroshima. And the itinerary is packed with fantastic experiences, comfortable hotels, amazing food. And in between that, you do have some time for rest on the free afternoons. So the accommodation is in 4-star hotels. Twin occupancy is standard, but if you would like to move to a single room, that is possible for a surcharge. All rooms have ensuite bathrooms, of course, in these very comfortable 4-star hotels. And there's buffet breakfast. Wi-Fi is available everywhere. Although you may want to buy a Japanese SIM when you arrive at the airport. Although there's Wi-Fi is readily available. And yeah, the accommodation's been visited and audited by teams from the university, as well as obviously from our team, TLA. Our regional specialists in Tokyo have checked out all the accommodation for the trip, and it's well located, clean and comfortable. So your transportation is a combination of bullet trains, private transport and public transport where convenient, if public transport is more convenient for some routes, and there's walking. So make sure you do bring your sensible walking shoes. So tour guides are with you throughout the trip. We call them adventure leaders. Once you get on the ground with our adventure leaders, they are from Japan, but they speak excellent English and they are very experienced in taking our groups traveling. So what to bring for the trip? So yeah, you need your passport, but if it's an American passport you hold, then you don't need a visa for Japan. So that makes it very easy, but you definitely do need your passport to travel to Japan. Yeah, weather in April can be changeable. So it's just bring weather for, wet, cold, as well as warm. It could be any of those. The important thing is comfortable day shoes. In walking shoes, you don't need hiking boots or anything like that, but just shoes that you can walk around all day in and be comfortable. The rest of the things are usual travel things, wash bag, sunscreen, umbrella, phone charger, plug adapters. Do pack light. You are going to 3 different cities, so it's 3 different, times getting on and off trains and checking into different hotels. So if you have a huge suitcase, it's just not very convenient. Do pack light. We will send a full packing list before departure, of course. So in terms of health and safety, we're very proud of our safety record. We've been running these trips for 13 years and we've never had a serious incident. And we think that's down to our risk mitigation. These are all the different steps that we do take to ensure we keep you safe. And we're very proud of our reputation here with regards to safety. Okay, thank you very much for your time this morning. I hope that gives an indication of what to expect on this trip. As I say, it's a really unique country and a beautiful part of the world. And, traveling and doing it together as a group where you can learn from our adventure leaders and enjoy the experiences together as a group makes it an extra special way to experience Japan. So we hope that we can see as many of you as possible over here. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for me? Let me have a look at the chat. No, I think if anyone has any questions, then do just turn your mic on and ask or put them in the chat. Okay, we have a question from Eileen. When do you announce the hotels? We have the hotels already confirmed for this trip, so we can send the name of those out after, so that you can see those hotels and check that you're comfortable with them. But as I say, these have been vetted by both the university and our team. So we're confident that you'll be comfortable in these hotels, but we will send you those names.
Thank you so much, Ramsey. Although you are in Asia, you are on the other side of the earth. We are still connected. Thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. And would you please stop your... Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my name is Alice Yang. I'm the Acting Director of Special International Education. I manage study abroad programs and also offer services at U.S. Passport Office at Skyline College. I'm so glad that so many friends from the local community join us today. And thank you for your participation and interest. Just now, Ramsey offered you very important information about the trip. Now I will give you some context information about why we do this, why we offer this program to the local community. Now I share a PowerPoint with you. You can see it now, right? Yes. Anyone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So you see our dates in April 2024, and then cherry blossom, beautiful cherry blossom. So that is the cherry blossom season, best season in Japan. So SMCSD Study Abroad is a district-wide program. We are hosted at Skyline College, but we support all those three colleges, Cañada College, College of San Mateo, and Skyline College. And in past years, we offered programs in more than 15 countries. And Skyline College was announced as the #1 Gilman Scholar producing community college in the United States in 2022. So we're very proud of that, and we'll continue to offer quality services to our study abroad students. And then we offer different kinds of programs. Community travel is one of it, but we also offer 3 semester programs in Barcelona, Florence, and London. Offer some short-term programs led by our professors, global internship, and then transfer abroad, help students who receive associate degree to continue their bachelor's degree study in France. And we plan to launch a domestic study away program to offer more global learning opportunities, even in the United States, to many students. As I said, we also offer a passport office service here. So you're welcome to use our passport services. Okay. So what is community travel? And we want to create this great educational, but also unforgettable trips for you, for a small group of people, to travel together, but guided by tour guides, by our own travel ambassador. So for this program, Chicago Walker will lead the program, and she is the current acting director of international education, working at the district office. And so glad that we have the opportunity to work with the Learning Adventure, our program provider, to offer you this opportunity to travel to Japan. So for the all the events, activities, the pace is comfortable and moderately active, but we do require the participant needs to be at least 18 years old. It is for the local community, and we will not offer any course, so there will be no homework, but you are welcome to write journals if you want to. And there will be a lot of free time as well, so you can enjoy some time there yourself. Okay, healthy to travel, that's important. So we want to have a good time together. So the reason behind it, so in addition to, to offering this valuable opportunity for you, but it is also opportunity for you to support our students Out of the program fee, the $500, we will use it for study abroad scholarship. So it's educational and also philanthropical for the students as well. So some testimony, student spotlights, student Alexandra, she received a scholarship through the community travel program support and did internship in South Africa. And then this is her reflection. It's an opportunity of a lifetime and help her to immerse herself in a new culture, gain an alternative perspective. Another example, this student did an internship in Prague, Czech Republic in the same year. So she learned that something normal here is not normal for others, and vice versa. So he was able to look at normal things without anxiety. So that is the personal gain students get through the study abroad experience. And this is the impact, right? The impact that you can have on our students through your participation in the community travel program, through your donation, through your financial support for our students. So we really appreciate that. And then these are some photos from past community travel programs. So this is not the first time that we ran this kind of program. We did a few times in the past years. In 2016, interim Dean Zach Glory led a program to Rome, Italy. This is a group photo they took. And then 2018, one program to Ireland, which was led by our program service coordinator, Stephanie Wells. Another one to Sicily. This one was led by our Professor Lavinia, right? Lavinia Zanazzi. She's retired, and so this is they had a great time there. And a Cuba trip to in 2019. Another year in 2019 to Ireland again. So this year, April 2023, is the first time that we offer this program again after COVID. And the leader is Professor Rebecca Alex, who taught an art, like a painting drawing class for the group. So it's not a course, they don't earn any credit, but they still learn a lot about the art in Paris, France. So 17 women that happened to be female participants from local community attended this program. So they gained a lot through this. So we are so glad that next year, 2024, we are able to offer this program in Japan. Because you might notice on our website, we have an interest list, like a survey that we asked people to complete. And a lot of people expressed interest in Japan. So that's why we want to create this program to meet your need. And so now I want to welcome our program leader, Chicago Walker, to share more with you. And Chicago speaks Japanese, knows the Japanese culture. And I traveled with her to Japan, and we had a site inspection visit recently. And I'm so confident, I'm so glad that she's able to lead this program. Okay, Chicago.
Thank you, Alice. Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join our last information session for Japan Community Travel. This is your last chance. I am very honored to be your travel ambassador for Japan Community Travel. Nice to meet you. As introduced, my name is Chicago Walker. I was born and bred in Japan, speaks Japanese fluently still, and know a little bit of the Japanese culture too than most of anybody else here. So, you know, I'm looking forward to take you all to my home country, Japan, and have a great time there in spring of 2024, which I think is actually the best time to visit the country. Nice weather, and cherry blossom. Okay, you can go to the next slide. And you can see all of my bio here. There you go. So Japan Cultural Gems Tour. So how long is it? It is for 11 days. Starts on April 7th, 2024, and we will finish on the 18th. The cost is 4,999 based on the enrollment of 20 participants. If it is less than that, it is going to slightly increase, and it's going to be 5,169. If you have any questions after this session, this is our contact information. You can email us, you can give us a call to ask any other questions that you did not get to ask tonight. Okay, so Ramsey went over our trip itinerary really well, so I'm not going to repeat the same information all over again, but since Alice and I had the opportunity to actually do the site visit of all 3 cities, I would like to share some of our experience. So as Ramsey mentioned in his presentation, these are some of the places that we will be taking you to in Japan over 4 days. Can go to the next slide. Okay, so here are some of the fun pictures from a trip to Tokyo just the last month. It was still quite hot in mid-September, but April next year, it will be a nice time to travel. So as you land at either Narita International Airport or Haneda International Airport, you'll be able to see those fun anime pictures welcoming you to the country. The airports are very, updated and really nice. You could exchange your money there if you didn't do so in the United States. There is a bank, there is a cell phone services. You could do all kinds of stuff at the airport. And the picture in the middle is the Tokyo National Museum, which is considered the oldest and the largest in the country. I actually had never visited this museum until my site visit, so it was really nice. It's huge. They have several buildings displaying all kinds of Asian arts. It's not just Japanese arts. They collected items throughout East Asia and Southeast Asia, so they have a huge amount of the collection at the museum site. They also have a really nice Japanese garden. They also have a cafe where you can enjoy a cup of green tea. So you could really spend actually a day there if you want to. And also the nice thing about this museum is that it's located right next to Ueno National Park, which is actually a very famous park for cherry blossom viewing. So it's perfect for a trip. So if you are done with your museum visit, you could also stroll out to the park, enjoying the cherry blossom view. And then the picture on your right is Sensoji Temple, which is one of the most famous temples in Tokyo. I believe it was built around 7th century, so it's quite old. And it used to be in the Tokyo's entertainment district. And until even today, they still have that vibe of being, this Tokyo's central entertainment district. Very popular with the tourists, and it's a must-see site. And here's the itinerary of Kyoto. You'll be spending about 2.5 days there. A lot of you probably know Kyoto. It's probably one of the most visited sites in Japan, maybe next to Tokyo. It used to be the capital of Japan as well. They have more than 1,000 Buddhist temples, and something like over 400 Shinto shrines. So lots of cultural sites to visit. Next slide, please. Okay, so obviously we went to one of those famous temples and the famous shrines as well. Ramsey also talked about this Thousand Tree Gates, which is a picture in the middle. This one is called Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto. Very famous for these thousands of torii gates, red tree gates, very picturesque, and it's actually, it goes on, and it's like a hiking trail. So if you would like to just go on and take a little hike, you could do that. Alice and I, we tried to go all the way up to the top and we had to give up. It was just so long for us and we just ran out of time. But if you have the time and energy to do that, you can go all the way to the top, enjoy the view of Kyoto City. Or if you would rather less, there are many shops around, the shrine. There are many cafes that you can, stop by and enjoy Kyoto sweets, like the picture in this slide. Kyoto is also very, very famous for its delicious sweets. So I do encourage you to try some of those when you visit Kyoto. And this is the itinerary for your Hiroshima visit. We'll spend about 2 days, 2.5 days maybe, in Hiroshima. So Hiroshima actually has 2 parts. We'll be visiting the main Hiroshima downtown area, which include Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park and Museum. But we'll be also taking the group to Miyajima Island, which is this beautiful, beautiful island sitting in the Hiroshima Bay. Okay, so I was so glad that the Learning Adventure, they included Hiroshima in this trip because Hiroshima is very historically, it is a historically significant site, especially obviously for Japanese people, but for American folks as well. This is the first city where atomic bomb was unfortunately dropped during the World War II. And you'll be able to see some of those buildings that is still standing today. And we'll be taking the group to the museum as well. It's a very educational and it's a very emotional experience. Alice and I, we actually got to hear a story from the survivor as well. So it'll be a great experience for anybody. And it's a good way to remember what happened in the past. Okay, so this is Miyajima Island. And so Miyajima Island is a small island that's in the Hiroshima Bay. As Ramsey mentioned, it is most famous for this floating torii gate, as you see in this picture. The interesting part is that, they have high tide and low tide. And when it's high tide, the torii gate is floating like this, as in the picture, but when it's a low tide, you could actually walk to the torii gate and take pictures and things. So it's a fun experience. And the whole island actually means a shrine island in Japanese. So, they have this big shrine in the middle of the island. You could walk around. You'll be able to see many of those, beautiful deers. They're friendly, but they can be wild. So we had a fun experience there. And if you choose to do so, we can have you experience the tea ceremony and other Japanese cultural activities as shown in the picture. We also had an opportunity to meet with the TLA's travel specialists as well. So they actually have two staff members based in Japan, which is actually really special. Not all travel agent has that for our country, of our destination. So they have somebody based in Tokyo who oversees all the trips in the east side of Japan, and they also have another travel specialist based in the west part of Japan. So all of the activities in the itinerary, this was built by the local travel specialists of TLA. And here are the hotels. So we got to stay in 3 hotels, Tokyo, Kyoto, and Hiroshima. All of them were just excellent. I mean, I don't actually get to stay in a nice hotel like this when I go back to Japan because I have my house there. But also these hotels are just top of the line. Very nice. You know, I wouldn't say spacious because Japanese hotels tend to be very small, but nice and clean, and the best hospitality. And then the location is excellent too. So the pictures in the slides are from a hotel that we stayed in Tokyo. It is right next to the shopping district called Ginza. So if you have a free time, you could actually just step outside on your own and enjoy a nice shopping in the area. I did want to show a picture of the typical Japanese style bathroom. So it would look like this. So typically in Japan, we have a very deep bathtub like this. So you soak yourself in, relax, forget about everything that happened in the day. That's typically how we finish the day. So if you wanted to try a Japanese style bath, it will come with your hotel. But I'm not a big fan of taking a bath. They also have a shower as well right next to it, so you could just take a quick shower and just relax in your room. You have some options. And here are some pictures of from our bullet train trips. So you'll be taking a couple bullet trains. It is quite an experience. Not all countries have bullet train like this in Japan. It is extremely fast, obviously, and extremely punctual. You'll be so surprised how punctual they are, and there are actually so many of them running as well, almost like every 10 or 15 minutes. They keep on coming, but they are still very punctual. And inside the bullet train, it is very nice and comfortable, typically very quiet as well. So the typical thing that we do on the bullet train ride is we just kind of sit back, relax, take a nap, or eat your lunchbox like this in the picture. So usually at the train station, you have a variety of breakfast or lunch bento box options to take with you. So if you want to have a little snack, you can sit back, relax, enjoy your lunch, breakfast, and then you can enjoy the scenery as well. You will be taking a bullet train from Tokyo and Kyoto, and if the weather permits, you should be able to see the Mount Fuji. That's fine, thank you, Alice. I was too slow. There you go, next one. Okay, so here are some of my personal pitch for this trip. So why Japan, right? So obviously I want to start with the cultural richness. Japan is culturally very rich. It has a very, very long history, so you'll be able to see lots of traditional sites. We have lots of UNESCO heritage sites and buildings as well. So you'll be able to enjoy some of these traditional parts of Japan, but we also have an activity where we are taking you to like a museum or shopping district. Harajuku is one place that Ramsey mentioned at the beginning. This shopping district is in Tokyo. It's like this arty, quirky place, mostly for young people, but it'll be fun to watch. their fashions, and the whole site is just kind of spectacular. And then the food, I do have to mention food. And I believe most of you live in the Bay Area, and there are lots of Japanese restaurants and food options here too. But going there is a different experience. It's way better, I do have to say. Japanese food in the Bay Area, they're doing a really good job, I have to say, living in other parts of America. But the local, local food is really, obviously the best. We will have a variety of food options. So if you have any dietary restrictions, all you have to do is just to indicate that on your applications, and we will accommodate your dietary restrictions. And then the shopping, of course, the shopping, right? And luckily, the exchange rate today is excellent. United States dollars and Japanese yen. Japanese yen is quite weak against United States dollars. So you would feel rich going to Japan and shopping around. And of course, exchange rates would fluctuate, but experts say that this will stay around the same rate for another year or so. So when we go next spring, I would expect the exchange rate to stay around the same. There are lots of tax-free shops in those 3 cities that we are taking you to as well. So make sure you bring your passport to enjoy tax-free shopping. This is a little comparison of a program with some of the similar programs offered in the Bay Area. So you can see how our program is actually more affordable than some of the similar programs offered in our area. These 2 other examples, these are also only for alumni as well. So it's not open to everybody. The application is open now, and program will be capped at 20 participants. Application deadline is coming up on November the 1st, 2023. Enrollment will be on a first come, first served basis. So whoever submits the application first will secure a spot. That's how it works. And when you submit the application, a $450 deposit fee is also due. So make sure you not only just to complete the online application, but also pay the deposit online at the same time. So what's next? So as mentioned, application deadline is coming up on November 1st. So submit your application early, pay your deposit. And we are planning to do in-person meet and greet sometime in December this year. We haven't decided on the date yet, but we will have an in-person opportunity for us all to meet. And the final trip balance will be due on January 8th, 2024. And we will plan another in-person/online pre-departure orientation sometime in February or March 2024. And here is our refund policy. I think somebody asked this question in the chat. So if you withdraw from the program on or before November 1st, 2023, all fees paid less 150 processing fee will be refunded. So $300 will be refunded to you. If you withdraw on or before January 8th, 2024, all fees paid less the 450 deposit will be returned to you. But after January 8th, 2024, that's the final payment day. And if you withdraw anytime after that, there will be no refund. Again, here is our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us if you have additional questions, but I think we have about 10 minutes for questions if you have any right now.
Yes, Chicago, we do have a few questions in the chat. So
Mhm.
first, let me answer one question. For the video recording tonight, we will share to folks who have RSVP'd for this session. Don't worry about that. And then another question is, besides those programs you just introduced, are there any other educational program during this tour?
Do you mean SMCCD will offer other programs or this Japan program?
This Japan program.
I wish.
MT, would you like to be specific about your question? I know it's your question.
Who asked the question?
MT.
MT. MT. Do you want to?
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, MT is asking, are there extra lectures? The microphone is not working.
Yeah,
So
so I
there's
don't know
no
if
other formal lectures during the program in Japan, but we do have our adventure leaders making lots of announcements, you know, at the various sites. So not formal lectures, but you will learn a lot during the program just through the adventure leaders. Then there's some formal lessons like the sushi making class.
Correct. Yeah, there's it's not this trip is not a class. You do not get credits, course credit for this. So there's no formal lecture, but there are going to be some cultural activities that you can choose to participate in.
You mentioned earlier there's a cooking class, right?
But a sushi making class.
Sushi making, that's
You
more
learn
fun.
how to cook the fish in the right way, and you learn from an expert. Yes, sushi chef.
Thank you for answering the question.
Don't worry about your grade for the cooking class. it's for fun.
Okay, we have one more question is, what are the qualifications of the guides, local guide?
So they come from a range of backgrounds. Nanami, who I think some of you met on the inspection tour and who will see your group during your time in Japan. She is former Miss World Heritage Japan, and she was a dancer before, traveling around the world. And is, you know, but now back in Tokyo, and just is very passionate about the value that international exchange and understanding can bring. But then we also have other adventure leaders who are former teachers in Japan, and then they enjoy the presenting and public speaking, but wanted more adventure in their lives. We have a range of diverse backgrounds that people come from. And we think that's what makes them quite interesting, that they can all bring a different spin and they can share their own experience from their different backgrounds in Japan. So they have a range of backgrounds. They've all gone through our training programs with regards to safety and how to be an adventure leader and how to communicate properly and deliver our messages. So they tend to be one of the most highly rated aspects of the trip. Our adventure leaders in Japan, they're very professional and just very interesting people to travel alongside.
Thank you, Ramsey, for answering the question. You're all in good hands. You will learn a lot about Japan. Okay, one more question. Damle is asking, does that mean this program is really not intended for students? I believe the travel day is on the tail end of semester for those intend to take the class. So I think
this program, is designed for local community people. So the time is during the semester, not very convenient for students, and we don't offer any credits. So if students, they can manage it, they're welcome to participate, but they're not, they have to be 18 years and above, and then they won't get any units from this trip.
So Dominic, do you have a follow-up question? You're welcome to participate the trip. You must be 18 years old and you will need to manage your class. So is there any scholarship available, financial aid available for this program? I'm sorry, this is a community travel program. We are trying to raise fund for scholarship for our study abroad trip. So there's no scholarship or financial aid available for this trip. Another question, do you have information about flights?
We will send over the recommended flights for this trip. Flights are not included in the program, so you need to book those yourself, but we will send over the flight suggestions, which are the most reasonable flights that we suggest the group take so that you can travel on the same flight and arrive together. And we will send over a suggested platform to book those on. That's a safe platform that you can book that with your credit card in a safe way and a reliable way.
Yeah, we kind of intentionally took out the flight portion from this package to allow some flexibility for participants. In the past, we had folks who wanted to arrive early or who wanted to stay longer, who wanted to combine their trip with nearby countries. So you have the flexibility to fly in whenever, as long as it is before the program starts, and also stay longer than the official program end date.
So we'll arrange some pre-batch orientation sessions, including the first one, meet and greet. So that's an opportunity for you to make friends with other travelers. Then you can also talk to each other. You can book flight together.
Thank you. And we have another 2 questions. How much experience do the adventure leaders typically have? As Renzi just answered, the specific leader, she is World Heritage. Is that right? Am I right? So it sounds very experienced.
That's right. I think Nanami's worked with us for about 2 years now, but generally, I mean, she's been in the industry about 5 years, I think. So she's experienced. We do have some adventure leaders who are sort of 10 plus years experience, but you know, at least 2 years experience leading these groups for all adventure leaders.
Plus Chicago is very experienced.
Well, based on my experience meeting with the travel adventure leaders or the travel specialists, they are extremely resourceful and helpful. And they have managed so many, trips like this. They have managed study tours for younger kids. So they're very, very experienced and professional.
Thank you, Chicago. More question about the budget. How much money would you expect to spend each day in additional to $4,999? And how much should the people budget for the flight?
Depends on how much shopping you want to do. I have to say. Because the package really includes all the basics, right? So you don't have to worry about your meals, you don't have to worry about your transportation, hotel is included. So you have all the basic in the package. So it's really about how much more you want to do and how much shopping you want to do each day. So if you want to travel economically, you don't have to spend, you shouldn't have to spend a lot more. It's completely up to you. And in terms of the flights, if we are talking about economy class, I would say it's between 1,000 and 1,500 US dollars for this time of the year. I just actually recently looked up, and it's around that range. But obviously, the longer you wait, the more expensive the flights are going to be. So it is recommended that you apply soon and then you book your flight sooner than later.
Thank you, Chikako. Do we have any other questions? You feel free to talk too. You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
So all the questions in the chat box have been answered, right? The chat box questions?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Will you send the airline out flights after call? Jeanette, could you please clarify your question? What do you mean by, so you mean will we send out flight information so you can book? Yeah, we will send out flights recommendation later. And after you book your flights, we will be asking your flight information to keep on our record, so there will be pickup at the airport.
Because the program date is in April, right? April 2024.
Mhm.
I think the flight, usually you would book flights like what, 3 months at most in advance. So we can share the information around January or February, right, Ramsey?
Yeah,
The
flights
flight-
are actually available for sale already for majority of airlines. If you want to just kind of go ahead and book your flight, they usually release a flight information, something like 8 months before, I want to say, depending on the airline company. So majority of the airline companies, they have already released flights for April of next year.
Yeah, so our team can send those over this week to the university, and then you can have those from quite early on. Well, next week it will be, if we give them a couple of days to find the best options, so we can send those over to you next week.
Mhm.
Well, if you're, as Zach suggested, if you're seriously serious about this program, would you like to raise your hand? We can talk you more about it, and we can contact you after, and we can make phone calls to you. Perhaps it's easier. You can talk us on the phone or even meet in person. We can do an advising session. Thank you. I will contact you after this meeting. Thank you very much. Does
So,
anybody?
yeah, restrictions, right? You click on the base restriction and then raise your hand. Yeah.
Well, there are a few text me directly saying they're still considering and comparing the program. As Chikako said earlier, the price is very comparable. If you compare to other universities, similar trip, our price is much lower.
There's a question about how much were the past trips. I don't really have that information with me. If Alice or Zed would like to answer this question.
What's the question again? I don't
How
see.
much were past trips? So this is our
how much
first
per country?
in the community
Yeah.
travel to Japan, so we have nothing to compare specifically with Japan, but we had some other community travels to other countries, and it is different, I believe, because the length is different, flight duration is different, so I don't know, it's kind of hard to compare, but if you have any information to share.
Yeah, I showed some slides, right? We offer a program that takes people to Italy, France, Cuba, and a couple of other countries. I think the program fee for the one we just offered in April to Paris, the program is more than 5,000 to 6,000, but the time is kind of a longer. And then definitely they didn't live in like stay in 4-star hotel. So that's, yeah, cannot compare. So this is comparatively, yeah, more affordable trip to Japan. Thank you so much. Any other question? So Kathy, you plan to participate?
Yeah, I think those hands are just that they are interested.
In the
Yes.
Yeah, not that they have questions.
Yes, if you raise your hand, I text you directly on the chat box to get your phone number. If you could get back to me, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll send another email to all of you who participated in this session today and offer you the link to the application site.
Thank you, Izzy. I got your number.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining
you.
us. Kathy, could you please text your number in the chat box for me? I just texted you.
Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Lamzi.
Yeah,
Thank you,
very much.
everybody.
Thank you, MT. I got your email address.
So you are in Hong Kong or where? Vietnam or somewhere?
I'm in Ho Chi Minh City right
Ho Chi
now.
Minh City.
I'm about to go to the airport back to Hong Kong. I'm always traveling across the region,
Wow.
but yeah, looking